Hello everyone. Today we're going to be talking about how you can hurt the narcissist and get your revenge. Because you've been treated unfairly, you've been manipulated, abused, deceived, and they didn't show any consideration for you, no remorse. So now you're left feeling hurt. You're left feeling like you've been robbed. And you want to give them a taste of their own medicine. You want to see them going through it. And I have for you in this video 15 things that you can do to hurt the narcissist and to get your revenge. Today I am in the apartment here in Nairobi, Kenya. Just been relaxing and good today, working on a new video which will be up in the next few hours. But yeah, it's all right, not too bad. It's quite a comfortable place here. And I've just been enjoying the local food. But yeah, anyway, give the video a thumbs up and now let's get into it together. Number 1, give them silence. Because here's the thing, when they manipulate you, abuse you, deceive you, gaslight you, all of this, because they're dysfunctional, toxic people, everything they're doing, it's actually just for them to gain power and control. Remember that. So, at one point in time in their childhoods, they were going on a certain path. They were going in a certain direction. They were maybe doing the right thing in life. But then someone misdirected, misguided them down a different path by making them feel like they weren't good enough, as though they couldn't do anything right, as though they were never going to get anywhere. And so then they became insecure, and yet they wanted to be something, they had to perform. So they put on this act, but really they were then deceiving people, they were cheating them. And they began to get off on hurting people. So this is how that happened, and now, since that time, everything they do is designed to put other people in reverse, discourage other people, just how they were discouraged in childhood. And it's all about getting you on that same wavelength, that same frequency, in agreement with them. Now, you may not have realized up until this point that you were agreeing with them. But in order for the relationship, that dynamic to continue, you would have had to have been in some sort of way. You would have had to have agreed non-verbally that you deserve that type of treatment because you were foolish, unaware, disconnected from yourself, or you underestimated your own worth. If you pay attention to the meaning behind it, that's what it was. Because as an example, when they were manipulating you, you went along with it. You followed their leads. When they abused you, maybe you didn't confront them. Maybe you chose to stay. And then gaslighter was effective on you. You doubted yourself. You lost confidence. So all of it was to get you in agreement, get you on that same wavelength, that same frequency. That was the whole purpose of it. And why do they need you to do that? It's because they're insecure. They lack confidence. They don't really believe in it themselves. What they display to you is arrogance and entitlement, an exaggeration of their own abilities and importance, because deep down they're insecure. And that's why they need your validation. That's why they need control over you, to give themselves the sense of importance and superiority. And a lot of that is you following these cues. It may be you communicating non-verbally, although sometimes it may be verbal communication as well. But you're boosting them up, you're feeding their ego. You're giving them a sense of stability, a platform on which they stand on. You are the glue that holds them together. You make them feel secure. But if you go silent, they lose that validation. They lose that supply. They lose that control. Nothing bruises a narcissist's ego more than being ignored. Number 2, stop explaining yourself. As victims, we always feel the need to explain things to the narcissist because they have a false character. They act innocent, oblivious, as though they're not doing anything wrong. And we believe in this false character. We feel this need to have to explain our feelings, actions, or decisions to them, as though we have to justify it, as though it's not enough just on our own, by ourselves, just stating that this is our boundary and this is what's okay for us and this is what's not okay. And because you cross that line, you cross that boundaries, now I have the right to walk away. But that's not enough for us. It's like we've got to get their approval. And this is it, because as long as you're doing that, you're still playing into their game. You're doing exactly what they want you to do. And they will act oblivious. They will act like they don't understand, like they don't know what you're talking about, because they want you to keep feeding into it. They want you to keep playing the game. It gives them a sense of control. But when you stop explaining yourself, that's when their power dies. When you stop justifying. Three, set boundaries and enforce them without emotion or apology. So it's as simple as that. You decide what's okay and what's not okay for you. That's what it means to have an identity, a personality, a sense of self. If you're not even deciding what's okay or what's not okay for you, then who are you? And that's just it. We didn't know who we were when we were around the narcissist. Everything was decided, dictated for us. We had to go off of their terms. Everything had to be under their conditions, under their influence and control. So we lost the sense of who we are, because so many times it's like, well, that's not how I would have done it. That's not what I was thinking. And so it was all just about them. And of course, they view us as an extension of themselves. So that's how many of us, we end up developing narcissistic fleas. We find ourselves becoming more and more like them, and then we start to think that we are the narcissist. And of course, what do? They jump on the bandwagon. They're quick to blame us as well, because they don't want to take accountability for anything. So this is it. You have to learn to be more confident in yourself. You have to learn to be assertive, to be the authority over yourself and over your own life. Now, you may have been blamed and shamed for doing that up until this point. There is a joke going around. Why did the narcissist cross the road? Because they thought it was a boundary. And that's really what it's like in real life. That is what they do. If they see a boundary, if they see something that makes a person uncomfortable, that takes away their power, that offends them, upsets them, that's the first thing they're going to do. They just can't control themselves. They lack discipline. They just feel this need as though if it's something you don't want them to do, they have to do it. Or they just can't control it. But you have to learn to assert yourself without being emotional. There's no need to get emotional about it. There's no need to fawn, over-explain, justify everything. It can be as simple as this. You don't like it. It's not good for you. It makes you feel uncomfortable. And so it should end there. And you don't have to apologize for it either. You are a person. You have a body, a mind. And you have the right, the duty, in fact, to protect it. Because of course, what's going to happen if you don't take good care of yourself? If you don't protect your mental health, your energy, then of course something could end up happening to you, and you could then pose a risk or threat to someone else. And of course, you are going to be blamed for that. You are going to be held accountable. And of course, you know, it's going to pose a problem for you as well in your own life. So you do have a duty, you have a responsibility. We all do as people, to decide what is right for us and what is not. What is okay and what is not. What we are going to do and what we are not going to do. That is our duty, our responsibility to decide that. Because if we don't have the power to decide that, then that means we can't be accountable for anything. Because think about it, it's like if you don't have any power over whether it's an object or a situation, if you have no power, you have no responsibility. But this is it, you know, narcissists, they put us in these ridiculous situations where they leave us with no power, but all of the responsibility. If you have no power, you have no power to change anything. You have no power over yourself, which means you can't even control your own thoughts, emotions, actions. And yet they will still blame you. So essentially they blame you for things that are their faults because they have the influence and control over you. This is why you have to learn to assert yourself. And you just have to tell it like this. It's as simple as no. This is not allowed. I do not accept that. And you just draw a line in the sand. And that leads me to number 4. Because of course, you know, like I said, why did the narcissist cross the road? Because they thought it was a boundary. So not only do you have to enforce the boundary, but number 4, you have to enforce consequences for when they cross the boundary. And I say when because it's really never an if with a narcissist. And what's the worst thing you can do to a narcissist? What is the worst consequence? It is removing your emotions, because that is their oxygen. It's what makes them feel alive. It's what gives them a sense of self, them a sense of control. So if they cross your boundary, you enforce the consequence. You remove your emotions. You take away their supply. You grey rock. Observe, don't absorb. Respond, don't react. Five, show self-respect. Now, this is something that many of us forget to do when we deal with narcissists. We make it all about them. It's all about respecting what they want. And we forget to respect ourselves. And it's very funny because they need our respect because they don't respect themselves. The truth is, you don't really need anyone's respect as long as you respect yourself. Because if you respect yourself, you're going to set boundaries, you're going to enforce them, and you're going to walk away. You're not going to tolerate it. And that's how this can be something that really hurts the narcissist. It's when you do show yourself self-respect. Six, stop trying to be understood. This is something we all do as victims. We over-explain, over-justify. We're doing anything we possibly can to understand them, to figure things out, to resolve the situation. Because all we want is harmony. That was our conditioning in childhood. Codependency, people-pleasing. So there was a problem, there was an issue, there was dysfunction. And we were the ones who wanted to make it better. We were the ones who wanted to make it right. And that's why now we go above and beyond to correct things that we didn't even cause. And that's what got us caught up with the narcissist. Because if we weren't like that, we wouldn't be good supply. So the whole point of how we ended up being supply is because we're just good, kind, nice people who will do anything to improve a situation, to make it better, healthier. But we've got to stop doing that. Because by doing that, we are being their supply, and they don't want anything to be better. They thrive in chaos and dysfunction. So we're not getting anywhere by doing that. And by showing indifference, that is the deepest cut. Seven, heal privately. We've got to focus on our healing, and we don't have to heal out in the open. It doesn't have to be around them. Now, you may want to show them, you may want to prove to them, look, I can be better. I can heal. I can be everything you said I was never going to be. But by doing that, you're just feeding into it. You're playing their game. That's exactly what they want. So instead, you heal quietly by yourself. Eventually, they will catch on to it. And when they see that you are healing privately, that's going to irritate them more than anything else. because they hate it when you grow outside of them. They want you to grow in their bubble, in their abusive cycle that never ends, where you are constantly their source of supply, where they run you through the love bombing, this illusion of growth, which are then followed by the devaluation, discard, and hoovering. That's how they want it to be. Or they want it on repeat. That's why it's a cycle. But when you heal quietly, it lets them know that you've escaped the abusive cycle. You are no longer their source of supply. You are outgrowing them. And they feel the distance growing, the separation. Your elevation requires separation. But for them, that separation is unbearable. Eight, let their smear campaign fall on deaf ears. It will starve them of supply. Now, what they're hoping is that by starting the smear campaign against you, spreading gossip, rumors, they're hoping that this is going to get you all worked up, anxious, panicking, hysteria. That's what they want for you. They want to keep you on high alert, oversensitive, overreactive, because that is their supply. That is their oxygen. That is their life force. That is what temporarily fills the emptiness inside of them. Again, don't feed into it. They want you on that same wavelength. They want you on that same frequency. It doesn't matter what they're saying about you. Doesn't matter what they're accusing you of. It all comes back to the same dynamic. They want you to feed into it. They want you on that same wavelength, that same frequency. That is what feeds them. But when you take it away, it starves them. 9, stop rescuing them from their own consequences. Another thing that we struggle with as victims. It's like, despite everything they've done to us, they may have ruined your life. They may have put you through hell. Despite that, you still feel this overwhelming guilt. Maybe even this overwhelming shame that you're a bad person. If you don't save, rescue them. We need to get rid of this mentality. We need to recognize that we have been groomed, conditioned to be this way. They pulled us into the narcissistic fog, the fear, obligation, and guilt, where we feel responsible for their problems. And this is it. You can feel responsible all you want. It's not going to change anything because you have no power in that situation. They take that away from you. And not only that, we can't fix, heal another person. They can only heal themselves. We can't just go around after them, fixing everything for them. Because before you even fix one thing, they've already created a dozen more problems. And that's exactly what they want. They want chaos, dysfunction. It distracts them from the dysfunction they feel inside. Ten, walk away first. When the narcissist blows everything up, when they ruin everything, they want to be the ones to walk away first so that they can define what happened. They can create their narrative. But when you walk away first, it shatters their illusion of control. It invalidates their illusion. 11, cut off the benefits they used you for. While you were with the narcissist, you were doing all of these things for them. You were always there for them, helping them, giving them whatever they need. Attention, comfort, security, money. You were paying their bills. Take that away. That is one of the best ways to get revenge on a narcissist. By taking away what they were using you for, what they became accustomed to. Because this is it, you know, they may have seemed very comfortable while they were getting this from you, to the point where they didn't even appreciate it and they were taking it for granted. You never even got a thank you. But guess what? Those very things that they didn't appreciate and weren't grateful for, once you take those things away, it destroys them. They don't know how to move past it, and they will struggle to replace it. 12, level up your life quietly. With a narcissist, it's all about control, the emotions, reactions, validation. In order for them to keep getting this out of you, they have to break your confidence. They have to stunt your progress. They can't have you moving on and succeeding without them. That separates you from them. That boosts your confidence. It makes you feel better about yourself. And so you no longer feel the need to validate them. You don't believe in their lies and illusions anymore, because you're looking at yourself and what you've accomplished, and it's like, well, if I was the problem, if I was so bad, then how could I achieve all of this? So then you know that it's them. You know that it's them. And that's why they have to destroy your confidence. They have to make you insecure. They have to prevent you from achieving anything, because that is what maintains their supply. The attention, validation, control, sense of superiority. And that's why if you do level up your life quietly, and you let them think that it's not a big deal, you let them minimize it, you let them humiliate you, ridicule you from a distance, of course, but you keep going quietly, day by day, you're building up your future. And then one day when they see it, when they have to witness your success, it will destroy them. When they finally see that distance between you and them, because that's what it's all about. I mean, essentially, you are like a pacifier, a baby's dummy to the narcissist. And so when you level up, when you become more confident, when you succeed, it's like their pacifier is being taken away. It's being pulled out of their mouths. Of course, they're going to throw a tantrum. They're going to lose their minds. "13, expose nothing, reveal nothing, react to nothing." When you start trying to expose things, you're still giving them attention. You're still feeding into it. You're still trying to prove something to them. You win when you finally get to the point when you realize that they are not important. You don't have to prove anything to them. All you have to do is prove it to yourself. What anyone else says doesn't matter. Even what I say, even what another coach says on YouTube or a therapist. You've got to get yourself to the point where you don't need anyone else to validate it. Where you just don't even care about it anymore, because you know with 100% conviction that you are right, based on what you've already seen from them. So you don't have to reveal anything. You don't have to react to anything. Even if they're opposing your viewpoints, your experiences, you don't have to argue or debate about it because you already know what is right. "14. Give your attention to people who value you. Nothing enrages them more. Because again, this comes back to their control. In order for them to maintain control, they have to isolate you from people who value you so that they can be your only source of influence. They can tell you what's right and what's wrong, what's true and what's not. They can define your worth. They can define who you are. That's who they want it to be because it serves them, so that they keep getting the validation that makes them feel real. It makes them feel alive. It makes them feel superior. But you take that away from them by giving your attention to people who do value you. Because what that's going to do is it's going to boost your confidence. It's going to boost your self-worth. And not just that you're getting it externally, but you start to see it in yourself. You start to think, hold on, you're right. I am capable. I can do this. When you may not have seen that before. So when you give your attention to people who value you, they get very jealous and insecure. They feel like their pet, their slave, is being taken away from them. And 15, show them they're replaceable. This is their worst nightmare. Because they want to be the authority of your life. They want to have the power. They want to have the control. They want to be your gods. They want to be someone who you look up to, admire, worship. They want you to be under their control. But this is it, you know. What have they ever actually done for you? What did you ever get back in return? All the narcissist ever was in your life was just something in your imagination. A fictional character who you admired, worshipped because they wanted you to. Or they just coerced you and you walked on eggshells around them. You went along with it. That's all that it was. And so, the way that you really hurt them, the way that you really get revenge, is by idolizing something else outside of them that they are not associated with or connected to. And this is how you will soon realize just how messed up they really are. Because the moment that you do that, the moment that you idolize a celebrity or someone that you have a crush on, or even a fictional character in a movie or book, all of a sudden, they will switch up their appearance, they will switch up their identity to align with that character. They will start acting just like them because they want to be admired, they want to be worshipped, they want to be your gods. And same thing if you start going back to church or the mosque or whatever religion you believe in. All of a sudden they will start doing that. They will mimic your personal growth when really they're not even interested in it. They're always just trying to align with you because they need that validation, control, a sense of superiority. But really, these narcissists, they didn't even believe in God. If they did, that would keep them in line, that would keep them in check. That would stop them from doing the things that they do. God cannot exist in the narcissist world. They are their own gods. But yeah, that's the 15th thing. to hurt the narcissist and get revenge on them. Start idolizing something else. Take them off the pedestal. Let them no longer be this authoritative figure in your life. Place something else above them. Something that's actually positive. Something that's actually going to serve you, build you up, instead of bringing you down. And watch as they crumble. But yeah, as I said, I am in Kenya now. Just staying in this neighborhood for a week. And this is the apartment I have here. This is where I'm doing all of my work. Got a video that will be up later today. But yeah, this is Kenya in East Africa. Let me know if you've got any questions in the live chat. I will answer them. Triviadum asks, are you British? Looks like India. No, as I said at the beginning of this video and just now, this is Kenya in East Africa. And yes, of course, I am British. I'm from the UK. As I do mention in every live video as well. But yeah, this is not the time to be doubting anything about ourselves. Do not doubt what your name is, what your age is, where you're from, where you are now. That's the first thing that every narcissist do.